Wow, everyone, what a crazy past couple months of real estate that we've been experiencing. We've got some pretty interesting topics to cover today. I know you guys did a lot of research, from rates to inventory to development, you name it, there's a ton going on. There's a lot of movement in the marketplace and some unexpected and unpredictable directions. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Alex, I think you did the research on rates this time around.
Yeah, let's talk rates.
Yeah.
So every week Freddie Mac releases its primary mortgage market survey, and they summed it up perfectly here with the release on July 28th. I'm quoting here, but they said, purchase demand continues to tumble as a cumulative impact of higher rates, elevated home prices, increased recession risk, and a decline in consumer confidence take a toll on home buyers. It's clear that over the past 2 years, the combination of pandemic, record low mortgage rates, and the opportunity to work remotely spurred greater demand. Now, as the market adjusts to a higher rate environment, we are seeing a period of deflated sales activity until the market normalizes, end quote. So yes, we are seeing a reduction in the overall amount of buyers actively looking for homes, but I think the key word here is normalizes. The phrase they use is, we are seeing a period of deflated sales until the market normalizes. And this is really what I want to focus on. If you take a look at the chart, we have the past year of interest rate data. You can see that there's a big spike between April and May, and then another one between June and July. And they held steady for most of July. Now, if you look at the 1-year chart, the increase does seem quite drastic, but let's take a look back at the 50-year chart to get a better understanding of where we are historically. As you can see from the 50-year chart, rates are still relatively low historically. We were at 5% back in 2017, and we're about 5% basically throughout most of the 2000s, and the rate basically goes up from there the further back in history you go, meaning that historically 5 to 6% is actually pretty low. When you average everything out, the historical average is around 8%.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the chart right here, and you guys will see it up behind us. It's pretty...
And that's what brings us back to the word normalized. We're not entering some insane new era of high rates. What's actually happening is we're getting back to the normal rate environment. But it feels like a huge shock to the system for anyone who's bought or sold anything with credit over the past decade. Quite frankly, we've been spoiled on very low rates, and it's time to level it out a bit. But the real question is, how does this affect the Austin real estate market, right? We have absolutely seen a slowdown of the appreciation here in the area, but again, that's relative when you consider the fact that we went up 20% over the past 2 years, which is astronomical by real estate standards. The slowdown is a healthy correction. It's not something to be feared, but we're still on one of the hottest real estate markets in the country. There's a massive influx of people still moving here and a severe shortage of housing. If anything, this adjustment is an opportunity for buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines and attempting to buy but have been consistently outbid. So now there's less competition. And my advice is, don't wait. Buy now for the best opportunity in years. It may not last long.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's good information. It helps to get a good understanding, like historically, as we're seeing here, where we stand from a historical standpoint. What we know is real estate development and transactions have happened consistently over the past 100 years, longer than that, of course. And in the past 50 years, you can see that the rates fluctuated from 30 to 20%, but it never stopped the real estate train. So I doubt this is going to be the first time people stop buying and selling real estate. Now, I know, was it Karen, did you do the research on the inventory? I think that's definitely something we need to pay very close attention to. So why don't you give us your update on that, and I'll get the stats up.
Well, now that we look at the inventory data, we see that there are some interesting developments. As you can see from the data points, if you look back to August 2021, you see that there are roughly 5,100 active listings and there are 4,100 sales, meaning that we had just over 1 month of inventory. That is, if no one listed any properties for 1 month, we would sell out of homes and there would be nothing left. You can see that that trend basically continued through April 2022. We stayed right at around 1 month of inventory. Then in May, right as the rates started to increase, we saw inventory basically go up 50%. And that's roughly 3,900 sales with 6,000 active listings. In June, we shot up to 3 months of inventory. In the in this July, we ended with around 4 months of inventory.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So 5 to 6 months is considered a balanced market between buyers and sellers, and anything more than 6 months is considered a buyer's market. So with that metric, we know that we'll be paying close attention to that in the next couple months.
Mhm.
What that means for sellers is that if you're thinking about listing, be prepared to put as much effort into that listing as possible via staging, excellent photography, virtual tours, and high-level marketing. Or if your property needs work and you're not willing to do that or don't intend to do the work, price accordingly to make sure that you're considered valuable among the growing competition. So a pricing and a marketing strategy are
Yeah,
strategy.
Very, very big deal right now.
Or
Yeah,
paramount.
that's strategy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get what you're saying.
So with there being more inventory, there's less competition, and even though there are still multiple offer situations happening, we are seeing more normal bidding situations for most of our buyers.
Yeah.
They aren't having to deal with dozens of other buyers. So we are able to negotiate terms and get that home under contract fast.
Yeah.
So for the last 2 years, what Alex said, it is a great time to be a buyer.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. And we can see how big of an effect those rates are actually happening on our marketplace. It's quite startling. You guys have seen the statistics. This rapid influx of inventory is crazy. It's the inverse of when the market exploded in the summer of 2020, if y'all remember. We went from like 4 or 5 months of inventory to like 1 month over the course of a couple months. And that just inverted. In April, we had a month of inventory, and now we're at 4 months. So it's really kind of fascinating. It's definitely going to be like the hot topic of our marketplace for the next couple months, and maybe even the next year or so. So we're going to pay very close attention. But it's not all doom and gloom. There is a lot of big money moving into the area, and I think, Linda, you did some research on all the developments, and you got some information to share with us on what's going on out there.
Yeah, I sure do. Okay,
Cool.
so now for the fun stuff.
Yeah, finally.
I just want to do a quick recap on some of the moving and shaking happening in the Central Texas area.
Mhm.
Although we've been discussing a turn in the marketplace, more inventory, higher rates, the potential shift into a buyer's market in the next couple of months to a year, it's important to keep in mind that here in the Central Texas area, it's still opportunity central.
Agreed. I'm still buying real estate. I don't know about
You do.
y'all. Yeah.
There continues to be a huge influx of people moving to the Central Texas area. As Chris Raymer,
Ramser, I think is his
Ramser.
name. Yeah, Chris Ramser.
writing for the Austin Chamber blog, states, the Austin metro area will gain nearly 55,000 new residents every year. The most recent U.S. Census Bureau information from 2021 stated that an average of 120 new residents moved to the Austin area daily.
Mhm.
So even in the next coming years, we deal with the interesting economic environment spanning every facet of our lives, from energy to basic goods to real estate. It's important to keep in mind that we live in a city that is better insulated against many of the fluctuations that are directly impacting many other parts of our country.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
Then good news for us, our folks are heading in our direction. They're bringing their dollars, their labor, their employees, and their businesses. Their whole lives are coming with them.
Yeah.
That's not to say we're not experiencing some of these market changes, but Austin continues to be a great choice for home buyers. Big money seems to agree. So here are a couple of developments that are coming up we thought you should know about. Volvo is breaking ground off of 620.
We'll fill the map up.
I know that Zach actually drives a Volvo and he loves his car. So
Good
that
vehicle.
should be enough reason for you guys to go out and buy a Volvo.
Yeah, right.
This is Volvo's second dealership in the Austin area, and it will service the Cedar Park, Leander, Lakeway, and Northwest Austin area. Shifting focus over to the northeast portion of our marketplace, Community Impact released an excellent article this past month talking about 10 different permit filings in the Pflugerville, Round Rock, and Hutto area. The total expected cost for these developments is just over $100 million. There are two big spenders here. Black Locust Home Developments on Black Locust Drive in Pflugerville, and Urbana Yard Homes on Cameron in Pflugerville.
Pflugerville's got some big development happening.
Yeah.
Lots.
Black Locust Townhomes recently filed a permit to build 115 units.
Nice.
Townhomes have gained a great popularity over the past couple of years as they offer a more affordable housing solution, and they have a lot of lock and leave features that a lot of buyers enjoy.
Yeah, I've noticed that, especially traveling nurses, things like that,
Yeah.
people that need to move around a lot.
Well, Black Locust Homes expects to spend around $25 million on the development. But the big fish here is Urbana Yard Homes at Cameron. That's estimated at a whopping $65 million based on their permit filing. It looks like they plan on building commercial space and amenities off of Cameron Road in Pflugerville. When you go to the website, they actually look like they develop townhomes, but the permits are a little vague and ambiguous. It looks to me like they are looking at building a bunch of different units out there. This should be very cool. It's centrally located, has easy access to the I-35 and toll road, and this, I'll keep you updated on all the developments here. The rest of the developments run the gamut from office space, restaurants, residential, and renovations to existing structures. We'll post a link to the article in the comment section if you'd like to take a look. And the last thing I want to cover is down south in the Cala area. They are continuing discussions about the potential road development project. Once again, thank you to Community Impact for excellent reporting on this subject. Here's a brief recap. There's a road bond election coming up for the city of Kyle, and the city council met to review possible plans. Originally, they were thinking the bonds would be about $100 million, but the council documents show that the new estimate is roughly 15 miles worth of road work with total closer to $279 million.
Yeah, they missed the ball on that one.
Yeah. Ultimately, what's important is that the council decided to wrap it all up into one bond election as opposed to spreading it out. If the bonds are voted in action during the election, the money will be divvied up over the course of the remaining 20 years, with about a third being mobilized in 2023, another third roughly in 2027, and the remainder towards the end of the decade. So if you're in Kyle, pay close attention to this announcement regarding the vote. You've got one chance, and the impact of the infrastructure of Kyle is worth your vote. Now, I think we're all in agreement here. There's some pretty crazy activity happening in our marketplace right now. A big influx of inventory, so much that it's rapidly approaching a balanced market and could shift into a buyer's market if it continues this way, which is pretty insane, seeing as how we haven't had a balanced market since the early 2010s. We're basically backed up to pre-pandemic levels, and there seems to be growing by the week. So we're definitely going to keep a close eye on that and get you an update every month.
Yeah, I mean, it really looked like the rate increase scared a lot of would-be buyers. But personally, I'm predicting a leveling out soon enough. And the reason that I say that is because, as we discussed here, there's a lot of investment moving to the Central Texas area, a lot of influx in population. And as the world starts to get used to this new interest rate environment and everyone starts to kind of realize that this is actually still pretty low historically, I think we're going to start to see some more buyer activity. So you kind of hit on it. That's just my prediction, and obviously only time will tell. But like what you said, I would think that now is probably the best time to be jumping in if you're a buyer in a long time. So I do hope that that was great information for you guys. Feel free to give us a like and a follow if you thought it was. We're going to be putting out this content as often as possible, and we want to make sure that you're ready to make a smart move. See you guys next time.